William Morrow and HarperAudio present Fight! Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by Jonathan Allen and Amie Parnes. Read by Joe Knezevich. For Stephanie, Asher, and Emma, the lights of my life. J.A. For the amazing Remy, my hero and champion prizefighter. A.P. Part 1. The Unmaking of the President. Chapter 1. The Quiet Part Out Loud. The sun had just set when Nancy Pelosi settled onto the living room couch in her seven-figure Georgetown condo overlooking the Kennedy Center and the Potomac River. The former House Speaker, still in perpetual motion at 84, fixed her wide brown eyes on a rarely used television screen. If not for the vanishing supply of chocolate ice cream in the freezer and the quick naps she caught between busy days, there was usually little evidence that anyone lived in her posh Washington crash pad at all. But this night, June 27, 2024, was different from all other nights. The television was on. She wanted to watch President Joe Biden debate former President Donald Trump without distraction, with a clear and focused mind. For that, Nancy Pelosi needed to be alone. Months earlier, she had urged Biden, a friend of 4 decades, not to line up toe-to-toe with Trump. At the time, the president, First Lady Jill Biden, and a handful of top White House officials were in the midst of internal discussions about whether to debate. At one point, Anita Dunn, the president's senior advisor for communications, thought that Trump's decision to skip Republican primary debates might provide enough political cover for Biden to sidestep him. The idea betrayed concern that debates might not go well for Biden. He asked his aides to consider the pros and cons. "We just didn't feel like we could get out of it," said one top Biden advisor. "If we didn't debate, it would have added to the narrative that the president was hiding from people." Biden worried that Trump wouldn't debate on the level, but he loved the prospect of a fight he was sure he would win. Some outside allies, aware of the internal talks, weighed in with White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients and other senior Biden aides to warn against debating Trump. Pelosi took her concerns directly to Biden. "I know you can beat him," Pelosi said, playing to Biden's ego before leaning in on the notion that he should not lower himself by sharing a camera frame with Trump. "You just can't go on stage with him." Of the millions of voters who loathed Trump, none found him more repulsive than Pelosi. Her House impeached him twice, once with a handful of Republican votes after his supporters sacked the U.S. Capitol in a violent but vain attempt to stop the certification of his 2020 defeat. Trump had mocked her husband, Paul Pelosi, when an intruder bashed his head in with a hammer. She told Biden he should not dignify Trump by granting the equal footing of a presidential debate. Trump's affinity for rolling around in the mud would make it impossible for Biden to emerge unsullied, she told the president. Trump's smell would spread to him, she thought. Biden disagreed. No, he said. "I should go." In early March, a solid performance at the State of the Union boosted Biden's confidence. After that address to Congress, he gave Pelosi an update. "I'm going," he told her. "We're setting the terms." He isn't resigned to debating Trump, Pelosi thought. He's really eager to do it. "As long as State of the Union Joe Biden comes out," she replied to the president, "it'll be great." In between roll call votes on the House floor several hours before the debate, lawmakers confessed their fears of a Trump romp to Pelosi. Biden did not look sharp. Some suspected that his limited contact with them and avoidance of the media suggested an even steeper decline. Others echoed the theory that Trump would bully and bluster his way to a victory that night. White House officials had tried to calm skeptics in private conversations, explaining their view that the debate was a necessary part of the presidential campaign process, that Biden would rise to the occasion, and that the contrast with Trump would be clear and convincing. Pelosi deployed some of the same arguments to reassure worried colleagues.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?